Right around the time you hit your 60th birthday, an invisible transformation occurs within your circulatory system, and almost nobody is talking about it. The blood that used to surge from your legs back to your heart with effortless efficiency begins to pool. It isn't a dramatic shift that flags a warning on a routine checkup. It's a slow, silent accumulation. Night after night, fluid sits heavy in your calves and feet while you lie in the dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering why your body refuses to let you drift off. Researchers specializing in the science of longevity have documented this phenomenon, and the data is staggering. Adults over the age of 60 are getting up to 40% less deep, restorative sleep than they did in their mid-40s. But here's the secret. The primary culprit isn't your stress levels, it isn't your screen time, and it isn't that cup of coffee you drank at lunchtime. It is a circulation bottleneck that begins in your lower limbs hours before your head ever touches the pillow. But what if I told you the solution wasn't in your medicine cabinet, but on your bedroom wall? There is a specific position that takes exactly 180 seconds. It requires zero equipment, zero cost, and zero athletic ability, yet it directly overrides this biological glitch. That is exactly what we are uncovering today. My name is Dr. Cartier-Cohen. I am a physician specializing in cardiovascular health and the mechanics of aging. In my years working with the 60-plus community, I've realized that the body isn't breaking down. It is simply operating with a plumbing system that has changed its rules. And because no one explains these new rules, millions of seniors are suffering through phantom sleep issues. Let's look at what the night actually feels like for most of you. You aren't necessarily tossing and turning all night. That would be simple to explain. Instead, you fall asleep just fine, perhaps even within minutes. But like clockwork, at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, something snaps you awake. The room is silent. There's no noise, no nightmare. But your body feels unsettled. There's a low-level buzz under your skin, a restlessness that demands movement. Your legs feel heavy, or perhaps oddly wired, as if they never received the memo that the day was over. Some of my patients describe a dull pressure in their calves. Others just feel a vague, nameless discomfort. So, you watch the clock, waiting for a morning that feels more like the end of a shift than the start of a new day. That isn't a sleep problem. That is a circulation crisis wearing a sleep problem's mask. Here is a mechanical truth. During the day, gravity is a constant weight pulling blood into your lower extremities. Your system relies on a second heart, your calf muscles, and a series of one-way valves in your veins to fight gravity and push that blood back up. When you were 30, your vessels were elastic and these valves were tight. But after 60, those valves lose their snap. Blood begins to linger. By 8 p.m., your legs are holding a significant amount of excess fluid. The moment you lie flat, your body is forced to redistribute that entire reservoir of fluid. Your kidneys are suddenly overworked, your heart rate fluctuates, and your nervous system, which is trying to enter rest mode, is instead hijacked by this internal fluid shift. This internal wake-up call is what pulls you out of deep sleep. The breakthrough news? This mechanism is incredibly responsive. You don't need to fix your veins or take a sedative. You simply need to give your body a head start by draining that fluid before you settle in for the night. This ensures your heart and nervous system aren't doing heavy lifting at 2 a.m. when they should be repairing your brain. This is where the legs up the wall protocol comes in. I want to tell you about Gary. Gary is 68, a retired electrician from Knoxville. When he first sat in my office, he looked defeated. He told me he hadn't slept a full night in 4 years. He'd tried every supplement and every expensive mattress on the market. Nothing worked. I asked Gary a question that most sleep experts never think to ask. By the time evening rolls around, are your ankles puffy? He looked at me like I was speaking a different language. Yes, he said, all the time. I told Gary to forget the pills for 2 weeks. I wanted him to spend 3 minutes before bed with his legs up the wall. 14 days later, Gary didn't just walk into my office. He practically vibrated in. His first words were, "I don't know how this works, but my wife wants to know if she can start tonight, too." He was sleeping until 6 a.m. The heavy, restless buzz in his legs had vanished. Gary didn't fix his brain. He fixed his fluid distribution. How to do it correctly. Find a clear stretch of wall. Sit sideways, as close to the baseboard as possible. Slowly swing your legs up so the backs of your thighs are resting against the wall and your body forms an L shape. Your back should be flat on the bed or floor. You don't need to be a gymnast. If your hamstrings are tight, keep a slight bend in the knees. All that matters is that your ankles are higher than your heart. Stay there for 3 minutes. That is the magic window. While you are there, gravity becomes your personal assistant. The pooled blood in your calves drains toward your core. Within 90 seconds, your venous return improves. Your heart rate slows down because it is finally receiving blood with zero effort. Most importantly, your autonomic nervous system reads a shift as a safe to shut down signal. By doing the work now, you allow your body to access deep sleep an hour earlier than usual. You might feel a slight tingling. Don't panic. That is a sensation of your circulation returning to a younger state. Note, if you have a history of glaucoma, heart failure, or blood clots, always clear this with your doctor first. The 14-day timeline. Night 3. The restless feeling at bedtime begins to quiet down. Day 7. Those 2 a.m. wake-ups become shorter. If you do wake up, you'll find you drift back to sleep in 10 minutes instead of an hour. Day 14. You wake up and realize the sleep actually counted. The grogginess is gone. Before we go further, I want to hear from you. What time does your body usually wake you up in the middle of the night? Type it in the comments. You'll likely see the same numbers, 1:30, 2:15, 3 o'clock, appearing over and over. There's a biological reason for that, and seeing it in the comments will help you realize you aren't alone. If you have a friend or a spouse who's been complaining about broken sleep for years, send them this video. They don't need another lecture on stress. They need the right explanation for their plumbing. Here is your challenge. Tonight, find your wall. Set a 3-minute timer. Do this once within 30 minutes of getting into bed. Make it a 30-day commitment. Once you feel what it's like to have a body that is actually rested, you will never go back to your old routine. If this video gave you a perspective you've never heard before, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Next week, I am revealing a specific mineral deficiency that 70% of adults over 60 have, and it is the only thing that keeps your blood vessels relaxed enough to stay in deep sleep. Most doctors don't test for it, and the health foods everyone tells you to eat contain the version your body can't even absorb after 60. You won't want to miss that one. I am Dr. Cartier Cohen. Take care of your heart, and I will see you in the next video.